You make me happy when skies are gray. You'll never know, dear, how much I love you. Please don't take my sunshine away. All right, here we go, guys. Yassine just joined us, and we've got Wolverine here with Blue Blade Studios and Andrew and Cora Nightmare Willie Morgan. And now Wolverine but carved. Lix is here. Random alien from Mars. Interesting. I like that screen name, and I like that origin. Spaz Dev and Steven and Timothy and Mr. Shank and Ice the Wolf. I don't know how long I can keep going with this. I'll tell you guys, for me, I know everybody's different with symptoms when they get COVID. For me, by far, the worst thing has been fatigue. Now, I've had pretty significant flu symptoms throughout. Although I got to admit, today, they're somewhat better. Arthur says, I'll remember you after the COVID. Well, thanks, Arthur. I appreciate that, pal. Today, the symptoms are down to, when you get at the end of a really bad head cold, it never even, at least to this point, never even really got in my chest. It was all a head cold, a congestion. But I've never had fatigue like this, ever, in my life, where you just feel like you can't move. It's just ridiculous. It's crazy. Look, says Curtis, I hear you got coronavirus. That means you're obsessed with VTubers now. Coronavirus. Excuse me. Lord Coldcut says, I'm here, but also drunk. So pardon autocorrect taking the wheel. I've told you guys many times over the years here, some of my very favorite posts or comments have been those that have been self-designated as high and or drunk. Spazdev says, today is a great day. Seinfeld on Netflix. The Sopranos movie comes out. Start of horror month October. And it's free for all Friday. It always amazed me, Spazdev, how much I enjoyed the Seinfeld series, considering that, I never thought his stand-up was funny. I've told you guys that story before about I was a dipshit for not taking the opportunity to meet him when I had it, though. Elha says, got COVID as well a few days ago. Bet I die faster. No, let's not race to that one, pal. Let's not race that one. Screw that. No, let's keep going through the COVID. And if we're going to go out, let's go out with something much more spectacular than this. Oh, Gabe. Oh. This is a painful run of puns here. Ran out of toilet paper and started using lettuce leaves. Today was just the tip of the iceberg. Tomorrow remains to be seen. That's terrible. I like that. Morgan says, how kind of you to wait till right when my laptop finishes updating to start the stream. That took an hour. Oof. Also, COVID, get out of Curtis. Well, thank you, Morgan. Yeah, I haven't had to scream for something to get out of me this much since, prison. All right, I didn't tell him to get out. I was like, I was cool with it. Willie says, do you guys remember the old fat guy who was a massive weeb and died of COVID? Me neither. Wait, did I know him? I probably wouldn't. Fuck him. I probably wouldn't have liked him. Spazdev says, Seinfeld is great, and I've not seen all the episodes. Seen most of them, so excited to finally watch all. It's a great series. It really is. And that surprised me. I had no interest in it when it first came out. Again, just because it's not a slam on Jerry Seinfeld. Again, nobody knows any better than I do that comedy is subjective. And I just never found his stand-up to be funny, so I had no interest in it. But I don't even know why. I watched an episode or two, and then it was like, all right, this is some pretty good shit. Arthur says, I've been struggling with inheritance paperwork from my dad. 1 million calls and attorneys later, and I'm still nowhere. They're trying to delay for probate. Oh, jeez. Oh, Arthur, there's nothing worse than red tape. The way that government can make even the simplest of things complicated just will never stop amazing me. Oh, Oink says, I went to the dentist today, and she did to my teeth what the Gooshman did to that one guy's ass. That's a quality dentist appointment right there. Woohoo. Morgan says, to be honest, I think all of us are going to get COVID at some point, even being vaccinated. I'm excited for boosters to be allowed. Yeah, it's funny, Morgan. I'm going to call my doctor when this is done and ask him, because I don't know how that works, because we do know, or the reports we're getting are that when you get COVID, the antibodies you create they're finding are extremely effective and powerful. So I'm going to ask him if I should also get the booster, or is having the initial shot and then having had COVID all you need for protection. I don't know. I have no idea. I haven't looked that up. I don't even know if that's anywhere I can find it. So I got to ask him what I'm supposed to do now. Excuse me. Trevor says, Curtis, what deal did Coach Kelly make with a blood demon to beat Wisconsin? Come on, Curtis, you can tell us. I tell you, that one's on our oh gosh, and you guys know how names escape me all the time. Marcus Freeman. That one's on our defensive coordinator, Freeman, because the reason that they beat Wisconsin was, well, Wisconsin, I won't get too deep into this. I know a lot of you guys aren't in college football, but Wisconsin is all about the run game. And Freeman came up with a defense where he was like, no, you guys aren't going to run. And when that happened, he forced them into doing things they didn't want to do. And, they haven't been good through the air. Whereas now Wisconsin shut down Notre Dame's run game too, but Notre Dame has a potent passing offense. Wisconsin didn't. So really that win was all on the defense and Freeman. Hey, Jesus Christ is here. Superstar. He says, when I die, I want to pay the poltergeist this way, whenever anyone sleeps, I can take out bulbs and move the table 2 inches to the left so they stub their toes. Yeah, that's the kind of shit I would do. I would think that was funny. Yeah, I definitely would. And that would be just the beginning of it all too, yes. Willie says, I'm getting sick myself. Oh, that sucks. Probably not COVID because I have already had it. My immune system is S tier. May just be strep again because I'm a carrier. Yeah, my stepdaughter, my older stepdaughter, not Renee, not my disabled stepdaughter, she has issues with strep a lot. Yeah, she gets it fairly frequently, unfortunately. Arthur says, no, the vaccine interferes with natural immunity. Well, that's what I got to ask him, Arthur. I want to make sure, and see what he has to say about it. But I do know, I read studies from Israel and somewhere else that are saying that the natural immunity is really potent, really powerful. Jesus Christ says, are Legos in their shoes when they have no kids? I love how the fact of Legos on the floor has finally become a recognized form of torture. Because as someone, who's been a father for many, many years, and every generation of my kids, grandkids all had Legos, they're vicious. Arthur says it weakens the natural antibodies if you get after. Well, like I said, that's what I'm going to check with him on and see what his take is on it, on the booster. Lex says, I hope I get Cowabunga virus again. Probably wouldn't even know this. FV says, hey, Spazman, sorry you and your wife are dealing with COVIDs. I got it early this year with only having a sore throat as a symptom. Oh, that's nice when you can get away with that little symptomatically. I just think we're really fortunate we had the, just judging from what other people have gone through, we're fortunate that we had the vaccine, just because the one thing we do know for sure about the vaccine is it has substantially lessened the symptoms when you do get COVID. And again, my wife's had it worse than me. She's still, I just heard her now, she's still down there coughing. She's had like a vicious flu for several days now. And again, I don't get too far ahead of myself, but it feels to me like symptomatically, I feel like certainly I'm not as uncomfortable as far as illness as I was the last 2 days. It feels like that's gotten better. It's just the exhaustion. It's just the fatigue that's killing me. Well, thanks, Snack. Jesus Christ says cup checks every time you fall asleep. Those are some sick twisted days. Cup check. Yeah, yep. Oh, Big Green says, hey, I'm here. I'm just playing Postal 2 for the millionth time. I never did end up finishing that. Postals, those are great games. How's the Woofu treating you? Everything all right over there? Yeah, we're doing okay, pal. I'll feel, for me, I'll just feel better when my wife gets over this cough she's got. It just bothers me that, well, thanks, Alex. You know, it's her dealing with that. Her ribs are so sore from all the coughing and everything. I just wish she could start getting better. Cold Cut says, you ever realize you are the protagonist of your own life? Yeah. Yeah, in most cases. I kind of wish the POV would switch to the busty side character, though. Yeah, me too. Sebastian says, the guy says you should wash your hands like you were washing your favorite celebrity. The other guy says, who the fuck washes their hands with their tongue? I don't know, though. Wait. Would my favorite celebrity be a female, though? It doesn't matter. I still wash with the tongue. Crustabomb says, missed out on a couple of minutes getting rid of a trash mob? Nothing's going to get in the way of me at Free for All Friday. Well, I appreciate that. I appreciate that, Krusty. Andrew says they're talking about closing schools here again due to lack of food delivery custodial staff. Oh, shit. Guess people are quitting due to the mandatory vaccine. Wow. I hadn't heard about that, Andrew. I knew up here where I am, well, you guys know we're in upstate New York. We've had local districts in trouble and having to close school because of lack of school bus drivers. But I hadn't heard about that with food delivery custodial staff. Oh, shit. Wow, I wonder if any in our region are experiencing that. Wow. Morgan says, seems like everyone's getting sick lately. My two coworkers both have gnarly colds, so I get to hold down the fort for my division. Thankfully, a quiet day, knock on wood. Yeah, I was just going to say, Morgan, let's not jinx it. Let's keep it nice and quiet for you. Willie says, you know what I hear is a great cure for COVID? Child abuse. Get over here, Spaz Kid. Lick says, when we getting a Postal 2 Let's Play, Curtis? I want to watch you piss on the cats. That was a fun game. It really was. I like those Postal games. Jesus Christ says, for Halloween, I'm going as Jason with a cop friend in a bloody sleeping bag. I call it pig in a blanket. Excuse me, guys. Keep going to my nose. I got a tickle on it now. Pig in a blanket. Freddie says, the supermarket I work in gave an incentive of $100 to all workers who present a vaccine card. That's cool. That's cool. Arthur says, Australia is a prison. This is why we have guns. Yeah. Australia is really dealing with some issues. Excuse me on this, guys. I just got to see if I can get this tickle out of my nose. So I can stop rubbing at my nose for you guys. Yeah. Boy, seeing the videos, excuse me, of what's going on down there and everything, that shit's getting serious. I mean, those are some really, really big, rowdy protests in the streets. Wayne says, don't need to play Postal to piss on cats. Cold Cut says, just for the record, dibs on the porn stash in case the old guy gets dragged down by a big titty goth Grim Reaper. Oh, yeah, might go willingly. Big titty goth Grim Reaper, I'm going. Fuck yeah. Why is that, I don't know how many of you have a lot of interaction with or have known a lot of goth folks, but is that just something that became like a urban legend, or are the goth girls really freaks? I mean, I only want to know, just, for science. Mistress says, best wishes, Curtis. Feel better soon. Well, thank you. I appreciate that. Solara says, just found out my representative in Parliament earns £81,932 in salary, not including taxes. The average wage of the rest of my area is $26,265, not including taxes, and he doesn't even speak for us. Yeah, there's a lot of disconnect throughout the world, I think, Solaris, between the general public and their elected representatives. Oh, Willie's stream boss now, too. Yeah. Trollburner account says if you say Lana backwards, you can hear the creation of the universe. Jesus Christ says, if you're a junior, your mom says your name during snoo snoo. Oh, okay. King Corp says, I have a goth girlfriend. They are freaks, for real, but it's cool. Oh, it's very cool. Yeah, I wanted to know that they were. That's an urban legend I want to be true. And Trevor says, in terms of goth girls, from what I've seen, it's both. That's fair. Luna says, in my experience, most goths are actually super nice people. They're outsiders, but then again, so am I so perhaps more relatable, like-minded? Yeah, I didn't mean to insinuate that I don't think they're good people. You guys know me. I'm all for doing whatever makes you happy. I don't judge on people for any shit like that. When I say they're freaks, that doesn't mean I don't think they're nice people. I want them to be freaks. I want them to be adventuresome. Yes, Trollburner account. Say Lana backwards is not. It's not difficult. It's pretty obvious what it is backwards. That's. And if you were to say Lana backwards, it would be Anal. You would only, if you wanted to read it backwards, it would be anal. Arthur says, Weebs called it with AU when they banned hentai. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Yeah, when banning anything along those lines is just, you're asking to bring about your own destruction. Oh, Willie says, I must defend my place as stream boss. Oh, just holding on, Willie. Oh, you know what happened? I think Arthur came in just in front of you, and oh, there you go. Now you got it. Just to defend the stream boss, Willie writes dog, and then just ring. JC says, hey, man, good to catch you live. I'm glad to have you. I've been a fan for a while, but I've never subbed. I'm finally official. How are you doing? Doing pretty good. I'll be doing a lot better once fucking COVID leaves. Cold Cut says, so let's talk about that sticky stuff. Will we contract the Croro-chan? I mean, I'll drink it straight from the tap no matter what, but the power of the horny protects me. I'm thinking we might. This is just off the cuff. I was going to see what you guys thought of it. I told you guys I would like to someday try and push membership at the Goosh to where we could take over as top on Patreon. I was thinking maybe, if I can schedule it, of maybe doing a 10-hour marathon stream of membership drive. First of all, would you guys be in for something like that, like a 10-hour stream? And second of all, what should we do for 10 hours? Yeah, well, I know what we'd like to do, but what should we do for 10 hours? What should we plan in the stream if I decide to do that? Would it be some fun stuff? Quiet Eclipse says Australia is locked down to our homes. That's what I hear. That's what I see. We can leave, but only with certain restrictions. In Victoria, we have a curfew, and all workers now have to be fully vaccinated. Yeah, Quiet Eclipse. I've seen a lot of the video of the unrest in the streets, and I mean, I completely understand where the people in the streets are coming from. And particularly, though, what kills me is everybody keeps talking about, from the beginning of this, keeps talking about follow the science. There is no science. There is none. There are not any stats that show a lockdown shows a significant improvement in overall infection rates than just masks and social distancing. So I don't really get that. Let's just talk about 10 about goth girlfriends for 10 hours. Lick says. Rover says 10-hour marathon jerk off stream. Oh, Rover, not at my age no more. Hell, I'm lucky if that that'd be that'd be a really short stream. JC Cook says, weird question. I've been watching Full Metal reactions. Did you know you don't have episode 22? I do. Is it kind of lost in time? It got taken down. Why they just decided to come up and just go after one episode, I couldn't tell you, but they did. Michelle says, hi, Curtis and fam. How is everyone doing? One suggestion for help with pain and sinus issues are shower tablets that release aromas. Really? They release the scent through the steam, like eucalyptus or mint. I've never heard of that. That sounds like a neat idea, though, Michelle, to be honest with you. I've never heard of that. I know that's what I spent. I just about drained our water tank last night, just in under a hot shower. It's like, this is so good because the steam gets in there and opens up your head a little bit. Yeah, I'm looking very much forward to that today. Let's see. Morgan says maybe it can be like a mix of the best of streams. Reactions, gaming, goosh among us, anime chat. That's an idea, Morgan. Yeah, we could do a little bit. I could line up like a little bit of everything. Yeah, have some game because I've been wanting to get back to playing the updated Doki Doki. That might be a good place to. Yeah, we could play it extended for a while. Excuse me. That's an idea. Some Doki Doki, some Among Us, some anime chat. Yeah, that's a good idea. I think about that. BTG says, I am here. What I miss? A lot of me coughing and spewing body fluids. In other words, the usual BTG. Nothing you didn't expect. Mr. King of Negativity says, have you ever found yourself so attractive that you kissed a mirror? I can honestly say I have not, but then again, this is what looks back at me when I look in the mirror, so you guys can understand. Arthur says, Australia is comparable to China right now, because China's strict laws are only enforced for CCP appearances. They don't care otherwise. Yeah, I don't. I tell you, Arthur, I just don't get that. I don't see what they're basing it on. Because we've been dealing with this virus for well over a year and a half now. There's a lot of statistics. There's a lot of stats on everything that's been done to combat it. And I've yet to see anything that shows that a hardcore lockdown has a significant advantage over just common sense stuff, social distancing, masking, all that. Just being aware. Basically, just everyone being aware that it's out there and try to stay away from one another as much as you can while living your life. Rover says a piece of everything would be good. Plus, it advertises everything the channel is about. That's true. So you know what you're signing up for. Other than your dashing good looks, I mean. That's true, Rover. And then I could, I could even set up a little schedule beforehand so everybody knows what to expect as the hours go by. Well, yeah, I'll have to see where I might be able to do that. Solara says, oh, Curtis, somehow that reminds me. Yesterday I learned something that shocked me. Ridley Scott came from my area. Really? Completely floored by this. It was fucking amazing. Also, my birthday on 28th. Oh, happy birthday a few weeks early, Solaris. Yeah, you know what the sad thing is now? I'm always going to associate my 60th birthday with fucking COVID. As soon as my birthday gets here, it's like, hey, this virus wants to come in and just give you a little taste of what death might be like. As long as you're this old anyway, you old fuck. Morgan says, oh, I'm getting L tattooed on my arm this Tuesday? It's a big boy. I am so excited. Are you really? That's cool, Morgan. Oh, that's very cool. Morgan, for those who don't know, Morgan is a huge, huge Death Note fan, as am I. JC says, Oh well, here's $5. Tell YouTube to suck it and put 22 back on. I wanted to see a reaction to Winry trying to shoot Scar. I wish I had it, pal. If I still had that episode, I could at least, because what I've done with some of the others is I post them over on our Patreon. And the only way I keep everything safe, that's why everything's behind a paywall there. I won't go into all the details, but we used to do anime right on YouTube. They kicked us off when YouTube came up with the whole block feature that they allowed the Japanese companies to use. I could survive the copyrights because I could file the counterclaims, but the block I couldn't. So we have to keep everything behind a paywall there. So what I would do is anything that got knocked down, I just put it up at the Goosh at the $1 level. So for $1, somebody would come in and you could download them all if you wanted and just see them. But I don't even have it there. I don't want to misdirect you. I don't have that that file anywhere. I think there's a. No, I don't even want to say without looking. I think I might have a few of the later FMAB, late in the series, FMAB episodes available at the Goosh, but 22 just unfortunately doesn't exist anymore. Oh, your birthday was on Tuesday? Happy birthday, a little late, oink. Shadow says, hey, Curtis, I haven't looked at this channel in a bit, but does YouTube still think you're too sexy for their platform? Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. No question about it, Shadow. They just... Susan makes that a point over and over. Well, you guys saw what happened. I mean, when my video got taken down for too much overtly sexual content, and there are hundreds of other videos with the exact same content, the only difference being this face, well, what else could they be telling us? Can't blame them. Big Green says, thanks, YouTube and or Japanese companies. Yeah, it was kind of a combination of both, Big Green, because YouTube, and I told you guys this at the time, when YouTube does something right, I don't have a problem with addressing that just as when they do something wrong. But they had the copyright platform in place, and it was fair. If a company wanted to file a claim, they could. The video got put on hold. You couldn't see it until, I could put in a counterclaim. And I would always put in a counterclaim and say, look, this is why I feel what I'm doing is within fair use. If you don't believe so, we'd have to take it to court and find out who's right. And the Japanese companies would always back down off it. So it's like you had your chance. Well, then apparently YouTube, for whatever reason, I have no idea why, just decided to bend over for them and said, well, if you don't want to file copyright claims, now you can just block it. And if you file a block, if the Japanese companies file a block on the content, I would file a counterclaim with the same thing saying, no, this is within fair use, here's why. And YouTube on blocks just says, you know what, never mind. It doesn't matter. They said they don't want it up there, so we're not putting it up. So you don't have any recourse. It doesn't. YouTube got on board with them saying, we don't care if you're within fair use guidelines. We don't want to be bothered with you. So that's why we had to move everything over to the Goosh, over to the Patreon. And that's also why, because people ask me that all the time, that's why everything has to stay behind a paywall. The one mistake I made in doing that, when I brought some of them out from behind the paywall so people could see them, got our Vimeo account shut down. So I ain't doing that again. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. BTG says, beware, long-term effects include loss of taste. That would be horrific to me. And my wife's going through it. She's lost taste and smell. Now, I have to a degree, but I think it's just because it's manifested itself as a head cold for me. So my loss of taste right now is exactly what I experience if I have a cold. Whereas my wife is saying she's just lost it entirely. She cannot smell or taste anything. So I don't think I've gotten to that point, or hopefully I won't get to that point that she has. Mine just seems to be because of the cold symptoms. Philip says, we had a Native Reconciliation Day yesterday in Canada. Typical Trudeau solution, create a federal holiday for government employees instead of addressing the issue. Yeah, sounds like it. Trudeau was scheduled for private meetings in Ottawa. Yeah, well, Philip, you know how I feel about Trudeau. Much the same way that you do. And I've never liked him. I don't agree with him on much politically anyway, but I mean, just as a person, I've never liked him. He just strikes me as such kind of a slimy used car salesman type. I wouldn't trust that guy at all. COVID. Arthur says COVID is worse for 60 plus. That is oddly specific. Yeah, worse for 60 plus as I turn 60. You're right, pal. They just had to rub it in a little bit. Oh, wait, there's more to that. Philip says instead Global News found out he'd gone on vacation. Hasn't been reelected 10 days and he's already taking time off for himself. That's unfortunate. I thought you guys, just from the little bits I was reading up on the election, I thought you guys might be rid of him this time around, but apparently not. Morgan says, by the way, need some good thoughts. Been having weird health issue since my miscarriage in January. Gotten worse instead of better. More tests Wednesday. Oof. Aw, Morgan, I'm sorry to hear that. Truly. Oh, I hope everything works out all right. Damn, that's well, listen, you just want somebody to bounce something off of or anything, or just a little frustration. You can always private message me over at Facebook. But I'm really sorry to hear that. That's too bad. Dealing with that kind of crap. Arthur says, Justin, the blackface connoisseur Trudeau. Yeah. It is funny how with some people, I guess it depends on which side you play for. Some people, look at Ralphie Northam. You can do the craziest, most egregiously racist things, have them captured on video or on film, and it's just cool. Everybody just seems to go on about their business. And other people, they might have said something that could be construed as incendiary 10 years ago on Twitter, and they want their heads. It's just kind of odd. Zayusa says, what meds did they put you on, old man? Oh, no meds, pal. We did an at-home test. That's how I know I have it. Especially with hospitals being overwhelmed and stuff. They don't want you going in because you have COVID unless you have serious symptoms. Unfortunately, knock on wood, my wife or I haven't had serious symptoms. We just got really bad flu-like symptoms. I've been monitoring our blood oxygen levels. They've stayed okay. That's our big go-to. If the blood oxygen levels had dropped below 90 for either of us, then it would have been time to go to the hospital. But other than that, we've just been taking like Dayquil, NyQuil to help sleep at night, stuff like that. Philip says, got 30% of the vote when only 62% of the population voted. COVID scared the voters away. Yeah. Most people were calling for his resignation. Probably the most unpopular prime minister in history. That's so unfortunate. At least he's still got a minority government though, right, Philip? I mean, that's of little consolation, but it's something. Trevor says, Trudeau is starting to make Commodus Roman Emperor look like a good leader. Yeah, I honestly, I feel for you guys. I just don't like the guy at all. And that's not just because we disagree politically. Good example is Obama. I disagree on a lot of things politically with Obama as well, but I like the guy. I think I always thought Barack Obama was a really, really decent dude, just somebody who I don't have much in agreement with. I can look past that. With Trudeau, I happen to disagree with him on politics. Regardless of which side of the political spectrum he was on, I wouldn't like him just because of that very essence he gives off. He just seems like an arrogant douche nozzle. Solara says, Twitter a decade ago was very different from where it is now. That's for sure. Same with most of social media. It was the here be dragon side of the internet, and I miss that. Me too. Something about free speech being free. Nope, I completely agree with you there, pal. Completely agree with you. Yeah. Well, you can't let people's fifis get hurt in this modern world. Quiet Clip says, Peter, Brian, there is a message in my cereal. It says, ooh. Brian, Peter, those are Cheerios. I don't remember. Was that something written, Quiet, that somebody came up with? Or was that an actual episode? I don't remember that one. There's a message in my cereal. Ooh. Big Green says, Curtis, bro, you watched Teen Titans Go. True. You lost your taste way before COVID knocked on your door. All right, there's some evidence there in your favor, but I am still going to stand. I stand with TT Go. I like that stupid show. And don't get me wrong, I did like the original Teen Titans as well, but I like Teen Titans Go better. I do. And you talk about something that puts you want to talk about something if you're going to do some polling data that leaves you at the bottom of the list. That's it right there. Philip says, unfortunately, the NDP under Singh propped him up last time and will likely do that again, while O'Toole continues to bend the knee instead of being a proper opposition. Great. So the dipshit managed to get reelected and he's still going to get to impose his will as well. Perfect. Arthur says, watch, blackface will be the new inclusivity. Yeah. Excuse me. Sorry, guys. Yeah, it's too bad what's happened in our society. I mean, don't get me wrong. I'm not an over-the-top old school guy about, I like that society has evolved to where bullying is taken seriously. Actual bullying is taken seriously and stuff like that. I think that's improvements we've made. It's just too unfortunate that we've gone so far to the other side that now there's a sector of society that believes anytime you say, think, or do anything that somebody else might find offensive, it should be legislated against. It shouldn't exist. Hey, if something offends you, too fucking bad. Whatever type of media you were consuming, whatever you were doing at the time of your offense, stop doing that then. But yeah, you guys know. Trevor says, Curtis, do you hate cheese or USC more? I can honestly say I hate USC more. But in this respect, Trevor, and I mean this, fuck off, train. I mean that too. If you were to tell me that USC was destined to win any one of the yearly games against Notre Dame, but if I would go eat a bunch of slices of American cheese, it could turn it the other way, I would eat the goddamn cheese. I would puke, probably repeatedly, but I would eat the cheese. I would eat the cheese. There's a good excerpt. But yes, I despise USC even more than cheese. Dragon says, what does milk and a kid with cancer have in common? An expiration date. Oh, Dragon. Oh. Morgan says, I hate that we get offended over everything nowadays. Couldn't agree with you more, Morgan. I mean, I'm only 26, but things have gotten worse ever since I was a teen. True. I mean, it has been. This has become a thing significantly over just the last 10 to 15 years. Absolutely. And again, it's, everything is an overreaction in our society. Back when I was a kid and you had little kids getting bullied and somebody would just say, well, that's part of growing up. Well, no, it shouldn't be, because you're being bullied means you had no opportunity to fight back. When you're being bullied, it's by somebody bigger and stronger than you. So that as a society, we started realizing, hey, that's bullshit. We should be making it a point to kids that the bullies are the dicks, and we've done a good job of that in society. But then we go so far as to say now, if anybody says anything that hurts your fifis, you should go running to someone in charge and make sure that they're never allowed to say that naughty thing again. And it's just, that's bullshit. There says, I can't stop simping for you. I need therapy. And Willie says, who is Stream Boss? Oh, Dragon Stream Boss now. Willie says, next post, please. Okie dokie. Oh, there it is right there. Willie says, Teen Titans is a masterpiece show that introduced many kids like me to Raven and made us youngins appreciate thick goth girls. That's truth. Teen Titans Go is fart jokes the show. You're not alone. You're not alone on that thought process, Willie. There's little that gets me any more derision than when I let it be known that I prefer Teen Titans Go over the original Teen Titans. Mr. King of Negativity says, I feel it just doesn't affect me too much. If someone gets offended at something I don't think is offensive, why would I get annoyed by it? I just ignore it. If someone gets offended at something I don't think is... Well, the problem, though, Mr. King of Negativity, is when you get enough people on board with their being offended to try and get something changed or to try and get someone canceled over it or something. That's when it becomes an issue. Solara says, England continues to suck. Children are getting more into drugs and beer than usual because of the stress, increased mental problems, etc., whereas everyone in Parliament acts like it's fine. That's the thing I don't think that gets talked about enough, is the emotional impact that COVID has had with the shutdowns and things along those lines. That's really significant and doesn't get discussed nearly enough. Kimster says, what you just said about people being offended greatly offends me, sir. Please stop being yourself and fall in line with the robots. My request is reasonable and I know I'm right. Whiny biatches. Yep, Kimster. I've never understood that in the respect that even if it's not offensive, even if it's just something you don't like, it would never occur to me in a million years. Like, say, okay, if I'm on YouTube, hell, I'm surf YouTube all the time, just like you guys do. If I'm perusing YouTube and I click on a video that I think I'm going to like, and then for whatever reason, I don't, does it offend me? Probably not. Very little offends me. But do I just think it's stupid or not what it should be, what it purported to be? I'm not going to bitch about it. I'm not going to go in the comments and, well, this is why you suck. And I move on to something else. That's the simplest thing in the world. That's why I think a lot of the easily offended is bullshit. It's just looking for attention. Because the easiest thing in the world when you see something that offends you is to just walk away from it. Oh, again, a lot of people find my sense of humor offensive. So somebody comes into the stream, say, and here's some of the jokes we tell, or here's one of the comments I make. Excuse me. And is offended by it, easiest thing in the world is to go and click off and say, I won't be going back to that bald asshole again. But so many people can't do that anymore. They have to make their feelings known to their little echo chamber. Freddie says, the most effective way to stop bullying is fighting back, even if you lose. I experienced that a few times. For some people, Freddie, I mean, that's where I've told you guys stories about me being bullied before. That's where I got to, but that's not for everybody. Not everybody has that in them to fight back physically, nor should they have to. Because as I've said, I've lived a lot of places in the country. Always liked a good go-round, a good rumble. I have never been anywhere that you couldn't find somebody else that wanted to fight. So if you're picking on somebody who doesn't, it's because you're a puss. Because there are people out there who will fight with you and want to. Philip says, I remember when I was getting bullied. I wish I could just punch the jerk and be done with it. Instead, I had to put up with it. I think the education system crippled an entire generation that way. It is. It's unfortunate. It really is, Philip. I told you guys that story, too, about what happened with me when I was getting bullied. And then I ended up, really lucky punch, drilled the kid. That was a nice shot. But then I got suspended. And I will give my dad credit on that. He went in and said, listen, kid pushed my son's head into a locker. And the vice principal says, yes, but we don't condone violence at any level. And my dad goes, well, if another kid pushed my kid's head into a locker, he's going to punch that kid too. So we're at an impasse here, so see ya. And by the time we got home, they had called and said I could come back to school. Arthur says, I softened up to Go when they addressed how cool the original was and that it was a shame how much it downgraded. Self-awareness is good. Well, I will say that, yeah, Teen Titans Go has, on many occasions, been very self-deprecating. Yeah, I've caught that. I like that, Rover. The most effective way to stop bullying is to pretend you like it. Harder, Daddy, is a very effective method to stop someone beating you up. Oh, guys, unfortunately, I'm going to have to go. My voice is just about giving out. I'm excuse me. I'm actually working to produce sound here. There's no fucking way I was going to allow COVID to interrupt our free for all Fridays. Just just wasn't going to happen. So I appreciate all you guys hanging out with me. I apologize for all the coughing and hacking throughout the stream and everything. But as a payoff, this sticky stuff is going to be literally infused with COVID. Now, earlier in the week when my wife had it and I didn't think I did, it was speculative COVID. This is the real deal. Oh, hold on. Arthur's got an next post one real quick. We'll do that before we go. Arthur says, I think a big problem with school is that they treat boys and girls as the same when we learn different. Makes both boys and girls socially confused. I think there's something to be said for that. I think there are some definite dissimilarities in general how boys versus girls learn. I think there's something truth to that. Goose, goodbye indeed, Gimster. So here it is. Sticky stuff infused with all of Curtis's love in the form of COVID. You definitely get out the official sticky stuff fanny packs for this. You're gonna want to keep some of this. You'll look years later. You'll look in the fanny pack and you'll be like, oh, what the fuck? And then you'll go, oh, I remember the COVID sticky stuff. Here it comes. Pom-poo. Sticky stuff for you, sticky stuff for you, sticky stuff for you, sticky stuff for you, and sticky stuff for you. All infused with a little bit of the vid. Because we'll bang, okay? Flashing like buggy. And as always, most importantly, and COVID doesn't have a fucking chance against it. Goose. Mm-hmm. Goose.